up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire.
What's up, everybody? Hope everyone's having a great day today. Just gonna check my sound here on the phone, see if the stream's all right. Let me know if you guys can hear me all right over there on your end. But I think everything should be good. Yep, there we go. It's perfect. I went to the little tiendita across the street. A little coffee over here. Alright, let's stop the music. All right, what's up, everybody? Andrew here with the Medellín Buzz. Today is January 16th, 2026. It is Friday. It is 6:01 p.m. And today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of Medellín in 2026 according to the new changes that are coming with this year. Some that are in place already and some that are going to be coming. That may affect you. It may not affect you at all. But we'll talk about it and see where this goes as far as questions go. I'll be answering all your questions. And on top of that, you want to stick until about the middle of the stream where I'm going to be telling you about my new business project in Medellín. I think a lot of you will benefit from this. I think most of you will benefit from my business, this new business venture that I have. It's super fun. Another passion project, another lifestyle business that I'm creating. It's not another course. Well, kind of. It's not like a course by me, like how to be better or whatever. I already have a course on the Medellín, they're called the Medellín Masterclass for people that are relocating down here. By the way, we are taking one-on-one calls with people that want to join the Medellín Masterclass. I'll either be on the call with you, answering questions about joining the masterclass, about relocating to Medellín, and how our team can help you relocate, make that move easier for you. There is a link in the description below for that if you want to schedule a discovery call with the Medellín Masterclass. You could also learn everything about the Medellín Masterclass by going to medellinmasterclass.com. But yeah, I'll be talking about that throughout. That's one of the main announcements that we have today for this year is that we're doing one-on-one calls for people that are interested in the Medellín Masterclass or just relocation as a whole and see how we could help. But yeah, all right. So welcome, everyone. Let's say hi to some of the people that are here. Zombie, how's it going? Hope you're having a good day. Edward, hope you're doing well. I'll be in Medellín Sunday. Nice. What's up, Roland? Ronald. Ronald says, hola from Michigan. I heard it's pretty cold in Michigan. K-Bay says, thinking of retiring, but they're put there as a home base. Is $10K a month enough to live lovely? K-Bay, $10,000 a month? You just need half of that to live amazing here, by the way. You could do it on $3,000 a month to live really good. $5,000 to be amazing. $10,000, you're part of the 10% of Colombians that make over $10,000. I did a video where I looked up all the stats, and granted that the stats for what people make in Colombia, that was from 2024, but only 20% of the population in Medellín, not in Colombia, in Medellín, only 20% make over $5,000. Over $10,000, that's 10%. maybe even smaller. I don't know what it is now, but that was in 2024. So yes, come over here with $10,000. You'll be a king. You'll be saving money, by the way. Unless if I guess you could spend it. I don't even know what I would spend $10,000 a month on. I'd have to have like 3 families. All right. So Jason says, I'm still in Robledo, Margarita. Nice. Welcome in. Elliot says, lower the music. Yes, I turned it off. Sorry. Hola from Medellin, says Gregory. Mr. Kevin says, hola from Virginia. Let's get active. Let's go. Zombie says, my badge says I'm number 1, but I'm actually number 2. You're number 2. Gregory says, good to see you, Andrew. Remember I met you on Calle 10 about 2 weeks ago. Yes, Greg. Yes, and you're in the video. Did you watch the video that I interviewed you on? That was really good. Bismarck says, hey, good evening. See you February 17th. Nice. Sneaky says, I've heard Medellin has a huge car enthusiast base. Yeah, there's a lot of classic cars enthusiasts out here. You don't see a lot of like car clubs like in the United States, or at least in LA. There's a lot of car clubs. They don't do lowriders here because you would probably mess up your car because there are potholes. Compared to the United States, where the streets are really, really nice in many areas. Not all areas, but many areas. But here, especially with the hills, lowriders aren't really a thing. People, and also Medellin is mountainous. People are, they descend from farmers. So they love like the bigger trucks. But yeah, like the old school FJ Cruisers, I love those. Old school Jeep, like the Jeep Willys. The old school 4Runners as well. Land Rovers, those are cool. Hey, thank you so much, Eric. Eric, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Have an empanada on me. With $5, I think I could have like 3 empanadas. You're living my dream. I'll be there soon. Well, we'll be here. Thank you. Thumbs up for that. Thank you so much. I'll hit the heart on that one too. You're currently living in Envigado, says Sneaky. Kibe says thank you. I'm definitely going to look you up to ease transition. Yeah, for sure. Brady says, hola from Springfield, Illinois, where the Simpsons live. I'm glad the fella asked about how much is needed to live there. I just got back from Panama City, and plan to go to Medellin. Yeah, I believe Panama City is a little more expensive than Medellin. Edward says, I'll be there Sunday to follow up with the construction on your apartment in Ciudad del Rio. Nice. Zombie says there's a group that has other cars like tuners and modded. Okay, cool. I didn't know that. Edward says, I'm trying to get in a call and have lunch, brother. All right, let's do that. Sneaky says, exactly. I heard ground clearance is brutal. Okay, I caught up. All right, so today's topic is going to be, we're going to talk about the new regulations to like Airbnb, what's going on with the minimum wage increase, which was kind of like a bombshell that dropped earlier, well, at the beginning of the year. And now it's in effect. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting year, to say the least, and we'll talk about how it may affect you, how it's going to affect me. I'll talk about that. I'll also talk about my plans for this year and also the launching of a new business that I think all of you are going to like in Medellin here. Yeah, so let's get started. So in today's video, we're going to dive deep in visa. We're also going to talk about the news, well, a little bit of the news, and what's going on with the relationship between Colombia and the United States and how that may affect foreigners coming in to apply for visas. We're also going to talk about more practical stuff like the FAQs that I get on these Zoom calls that I've been doing with you guys. I've been doing Zoom calls with only 20 people every first Tuesday of the month. And I've had a lot of great feedback and a lot of good questions on those Zoom calls. Some of those people have become Medellín Masterclass students because of the Zoom call. And now I'm doing one-on-one Zoom calls with people to join the masterclass because everyone's different. You know, everyone comes from, different backgrounds. Everyone comes with different questions, concerns, and or needs and wants from the city. So the one-on-one Zoom calls, they're going to be free, but you got to know about the Medellín Masterclass first. So make sure you read up on it. Just go to the website, medellínmasterclass.com. So we'll talk about that. And we're also going to talk about my plans for 2026 and hopefully your plans through answering questions on the chat here. So if you're watching the recorded version, you can also hit the like button. If you're watching the live version, there's a little thumbs up button that you can hit down there as well. So let's get started. So let's talk about the first pro of 2025. It's still affordable. We've had a 25%, almost 24% increase in minimum wage, meaning that people were making about $3,000. Sorry, 3,000. I imagine people were making about $300 a month last year. That was the minimum wage. This year, with that 23 or 24% increase, it's at about $400, a little over $400. There's also, when you're a minimum wage worker, most of the time you have subsidy. Your company subsidizes your transportation. Also, you've got to pay into, if you're an employer, you've got to pay into the social security system for them, and you also have to pay into their health care and a couple of other benefits that they get. So the minimum wage is not actually just $400. It's like about $450 or $470 per month. If you are an employer, it's going to be a little more because of all of the stuff that you have to cover. So that $400 minimum wage person actually costs you closer to $600 a month because of all the stuff that you pay into as an employer to be compliant. I personally believe that's a good thing. I know that it's going to increase prices, which is the first con of 2026. We're talking about inflation in Colombia in 2026 was about 5%, which was really good. It was down from previous years. Previous years, it was like closer to 10%, then 9%, then 8%. Last year, it closed at around 5 to 6%, which is really good. It's going in the right direction. The inflation of the minimum wage is going to increase prices on everything, particularly service industry or anything where you have a lot of minimum wage workers. I have a few friends here that own businesses. For example, I've got a friend that owns a Spanish immersion school called Blink Spanish in Barrio Manila. He has about a staff of almost 60 people. And many of them, are cleaners, maintenance people that keep up because it's like a hostel. It's like an immersion school where you actually live in. So you've got cleaners, cooks, waitresses for the restaurant. At the laundromat, you got the women that work at the laundry room. So you've got some minimum wage workers. So he told me that it has affected him, and in turn he's increased prices at his school for foreigners coming down and using his Spanish immersion school. What's up? Let's see. Let's say hi to some people before we go to the next pro and con. We'll talk about affordability or cost of living here as a pro and a con at the same time here in a minute. From Dusk ask, I know you said you're still good with your son's mother, but what caused the separate lives? I like being alone. I don't want to be in a relationship, and I'm not going to force it. I've seen a lot of couples do that, including like my own parents when they were younger. It's just I hated the fights at home. I hated, and when watching some of my friends that have gotten into that situation, and I'm just one of those people that I like to be happy, and my life is really good right now, and she's really happy as well. Helped her start a new business. She runs the property management company with my dad and my cousin. They work on that, and they've got a little team there, doing the property management for clients that have bought property from us through MedellinLivingRealEstate.com. So yeah, it's good, and I like it, and I don't mind sharing that because I think it's interesting for people to know. It's something that I'm always interested in with other people's lives, and being like, okay, seeing other perspectives and being like, okay, well, it can be done, right? And I know I have some friends that have really great relationships with their babies' mothers, even though they're not together. I have a few really close friends that have that relationship, and now they're to the point where they have their own relationships with other people, and it's still a happy thing. So we're in a new age. It's not anymore where you have to force this single family nucleus or whatever, right? Ty Cena says he's going to remain, he or she, Ty, I'm assuming it's a guy, is going to remain single forever, like George Clooney. or what's his name, Leonardo DiCaprio. I highly recommend having kids though. When you're ready, obviously. I at 43, or when I had him, 44 years old, I was definitely ready to have a kid. Mostly financially, but also emotionally and psychologically ready to have the kid. It was a good transition. Freddie says, "Hey Andrew, Freddie here. Would love to hear more on the investor visa minimum wage requirements." Yes, it's 23% more, but I'll get to that here in a minute. Edward says the minimum wage increase possibly bumped me out of qualifying for my investor visa. Guess I may have to marry a paisa. Well, you could also do like the shareholder visa, which is cheaper. You could also do the start a business, but I mean, I wouldn't recommend that if you're not like gun ho about starting a business in Colombia. I mean, it's hard to start a business anywhere, but starting a business in a country where it's new to you, it's even harder. I'd like to volunteer to teach English to the kids. That's dope. Yeah, look up our nonprofit organization where we help teach kids on Saturday mornings. Every Saturday is called Help Colombia, and you can not Google it. You could Google it, but you could check it out on Instagram. It's Help Colombia Now on Instagram, and there's a form that you can fill out, a volunteer form, and yeah, it's awesome. The kids are amazing. Been doing it for 4 years now. Lando says, "Wifey and I are looking to retire in Pereira. I'm a Spanish legal interpreter." Nice. And she's a Spanish English teacher. Got 4 more years to go. Nice, Lando. That's amazing. Congrats on that. Yeah, I'm sure you're going to have a great time here. Okay, so let's get. Oh, wait. Peter says, "Are you hiring? I'm 20 plus years experience in real estate appraisal and real estate broker. Also licensed insurance adjuster. Right now, we're not hiring, but we're not hiring, but we do pay referrals. For example, we've got a few allies, for example, one in Miami and one in Texas that does marketing for us out there to try to find clients. And they work the client. Obviously, the referral fee is higher for those people that actually work the client. And then when they're here, they're ready to buy. So yeah, there's definitely room for that. But for hiring as an employee now, as the helicopter is going, I don't know if you guys could hear that. There's been helicopters around because I think there's a politician in town very close. They stay at like the hotel across or down the street from me. It's a new hotel called the Sites Hotel. It's a really nice hotel here in Patio Bonito. But usually when these politicians come, they stay there, which is interesting. But there's cops everywhere and like helicopters flying through. It's crazy. Shorty says, "What is the best suburb of Medellin in your opinion?" Suburb of Medellin. I don't know if there's a suburb of Medellin. The best suburb I would say that's not even part of Medellin is Envigado. Envigado is kind of like a suburb of Medellin, but it's its own city adjacent to Medellin. That one's great. There's so many. Envigado, Sabaneta, El Retiro, Llano Grande, Rio Negro. That's all to the south or southeast of Medellin. If you just Google on Medellin, look at the map, and you just go southeast, you're going to see Envigado, Sabaneta, El Retiro, Rio Negro, and Llano Grande. Those are awesome places. And even as far south as like La Ceja. But those are small towns. That's like a small town. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What's the best suburb of Medellin? I mean, there's really no suburbs. This is all metropolitan, I guess, area. But yeah. Let's see. I'm open to start a business. I'm already taking the risk buying the apartment. I had no business buying it in the first place. I just love Medellin atmosphere. I'm open to investing in the business. Yeah, maybe investing in an existing business or maybe into a hotel where you can buy shares and get the shareholder visa, which is cheaper than the actual property investor visa, which could be a good idea. What is the best suburb? Okay, thanks for helping me find an immigration attorney that helped me get my second passport, Andrew. Wow, Mike Morris, thank you. No problem, man. I appreciate you mentioning that. Sneaky says, Andrew, what's the real rainy season like there? To be honest, I lived here for like the first 6 years of my life, and I really didn't notice a difference all year. The only time I noticed a big difference was 2 years ago when we had a big drought. We had a drought for almost a year. And for example, like the Guatapé man-made lake, literally went down a lot because just it was a drought. We had a drought, including there was rolling water blackouts, I guess. Yeah, they were doing like where they turn off the water and they would roll it some days because that's where we were going with that water shortage in Medellin. That was like 2 years ago. That was the only time I noticed it where it was like, man, it's not rainy. It's like hot all the time. But now it's back to normal, or it's been back to normal the last year and a half or so. And you don't really notice the difference all year. It's basically about 75 degrees, 75 to 80. It'll get as high as like 80, 81 degrees sometimes midday. And then at 2:30, it gets overcast and it may rain around 3 or 4. If not, it'll be a little overcast. Sometimes you'll have clear skies, but usually it's going to be overcast. And then the next day is the same. Mornings are beautiful until around 2:30 where it may rain. So that's how I knew when I used to teach English here back in the day, almost 12 years ago now. I used to teach English, but I used to love to go swimming at the Olympic pools at the stadium, which are free to do because they're free to the public. You just have to now. Before they had like a ticket system where you'd go get in line and they'd give you a number and they'd let people in when it got crowded. Usually it wasn't too crowded, especially during the week. Now you could just go online and reserve your spot through the Inder website. It's called Inder, Inder, like Tinder, but without the T. So don't go to Tinder and try to reserve your pool. Go to Inder, your pool spot. But you could also make other reservations at the Inder sports complexes around the city. That's the Inder is the government agency that does all the sports complexes, including the stuff at the stadium. But anyway, I would teach English at like 6 a.m. and I would be out at 12, right? Like that was, I would work from 6 to 12, like towards the later part of my teaching career there, because I had started the business and I didn't need to work the full 12 hours days there, from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m., which was my usual. So I would leave at 12 and then I'd get on the metro and rush over because I knew that at like around 2:30, it's going to rain. And swimming or playing basketball outdoors is not going to happen, or it's not lovely, right? But anyway, Curtis says, I love your channel. Thank you, Curtis. Hope you're having a great day today. It is Friday, the 16th of January. It's 6:22 p.m. And we are talking about the pros and cons of living in Medellin in 2026, or just visiting even, or maybe a part-time life here in Medellin or full-time, according to the new changes in things that have happened here. One of them being, the first thing that we talked about, is that it's still affordable to live in Medellin, even though there's been a minimum increase, or an increase in the minimum wage of about 24%, going from about $300 a month for minimum wage people to $400 a month. It has increased services. It has increased, like restaurant menus, the price at restaurants. Even at the grocery store, I have noticed some things have gone up. I think it's going to continue to go up or adjust. But that's okay because we make dollars. And if you're on a fixed income, if you're like retired and you've only got, $2,000 or $3,000 a month, you should still be okay. If you're at $1,500 a month, it's going to be tighter because things are going to get more expensive too. Rents, especially in desirable areas. So if you've got like a $1,500 budget, you're not going to be living in the desirable area, or meaning the ritzy area of Medellin, which is called El Poblado. Unless if you're going to be renting a room out or roommating with someone, which then, okay, it could happen. You could still find a 3-bedroom apartment here for $850 a month in El Poblado, in a great apartment complex with a pool, gym, sauna, all the amenities, right? Kids playground, like the place that I live in. I pay about $850 a month, and there are 2 for rent here, and they're the same price. They haven't gone up in price yet or anything. So prices on rentals, I think, have not adjusted so much. On Airbnb rentals, they have adjusted, and I did notice. I know because I had to adjust. I've increased. Not only have I increased because the minimum wage has increased, but I've increased because there's an increased demand. My shit's been booked We're almost booked until April. Imagine we're in January and we're almost booked until April on all my direct Airbnbs, the ones that I actually own, and the ones that we property manage. We're booked up until like February or March on the property management side for our clients that I don't own, but they're our clients and we manage them for them. So there's a higher demand. So I don't need to lower prices. If anything, I've put them up a little bit more than they were last year just because the demand is there. So people are still coming into the city. It still feels touristy out there. People are not scared, etc. So speaking of Airbnbs, we're going to get to the Airbnb regulations that have been in the news, I guess, or been headlines. It's nothing new, really. It's just enforcing the stuff that's already there, but we'll talk about that. So we talked about the pros and cons of this minimum wage increase. The affordability is still there. You're still, living at 50% of what you're paying in the United States, especially in major cities like Miami, Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, and others. You're still paying, 50% less than what you would be paying just to live your life for your basic needs, including healthcare. All right, so let's talk about the next pro and con, but let me ask or answer some of these questions. I think everyone is ready to buy real estate there. The vibe I'm getting in the chat. Well, yeah, I think a lot of people are getting ready to buy real estate here. Now, I totally understand if you have dollars. The dollar to peso is very low right now. So it's at about 3,600, where last year or the beginning of last year was at like 4,000 to 1. So it has dropped. But regardless, even with that drop, real estate here is still almost 50%, especially in the ritzy area. It's 50% of what you would get in the United States. It's 50% less. For example, a $400,000 penthouse here in Miami, in Los Angeles, the same type of penthouse in San Francisco, the same square meters, the same type of penthouse, the same age, or maybe even older in those cities, in New York would be, astronomical, probably in the million or more. So yeah, you could definitely get a better deal here, but obviously it's for people that want to live here. I don't know if I'd rent that out. I would want to live in it, but some people do rent them out, month to month or year-long contracts, because a lot of people don't buy and live here full time, so they'll rent them out. But if you are wanting to live out here, then that's a whole different story. Buying here definitely makes sense no matter what the exchange rate is, because then it's just a lifestyle play, right? It's an investment in your lifestyle. Okay, so Marilyn says, Andrew, what do you think of Loma de los Bernal? I love Loma de los Bernal. I had a girlfriend that lived there. The only thing I don't like about it is that it is Loma. Loma means hill in Spanish. So it's on a mountainside and it's hilly. So you're not going to be walking about all over the place, but it's very affordable. It's nice. It's beautiful. It's definitely kind of like what we would consider in Colombia, middle class neighborhood, very Colombian, very residential, not touristy at all. And above all, very affordable. And you do have apartment complexes there, again, with 24-hour security, 24/7 security. You've got apartments with, pools, gyms, etc. So I do like it. It's just on the other side. It's on the other side of El Poblado. I lived in various neighborhoods here in my 16 years. I never lived in Belén, actually. I lived in Laureles, in various sub-neighborhoods of Laureles. I even lived in downtown. I lived in various areas in El Poblado as well. So I think it's been 8 neighborhoods in total now that I've lived here. And I've loved that they all have like their own distinct charm. Some were more exciting than others, like living in downtown. I lived in downtown for a year and a half. That was exciting. That was super fun. And I've been here 16 years. I've never been robbed. I've never been stabbed. I've never been shot. I've never had that happen to me. I have had friends that has happened to, and many of them are Colombians, because Colombians get robbed by Colombians more than anybody because they're Colombians and there's more of them. But I have had also foreign friends that have been robbed here as well. But for me, knock on wood, I don't have any wood to knock on, but I've never been robbed, luckily, and I lived in downtown for a year and a half. But also, I am pretty street smart. I'm not going to go out and get hammered, drunk, and walk home from downtown bar or whatever, from Parque del Periodista to Torres de Bombonera. That's like, you're an idiot. Okay, so, I thought the proposed new regulations on Airbnbs. So, yeah, we're going to talk about proposed new regulations and also how strict they are. We'll talk about what that is. Yusuf says, hey, do you have any advice for a 22-year-old? I'm currently struggling to get a job within IT, web development, and would like to get some advice. I feel so behind and lacking, if that makes any sense. Yusuf, yeah, you're 22 years old. You're definitely not behind, especially if you know IT and web already at 22 years old. You know what I was doing at 22 years old? I was in prison because I was caught with meth in Southern California. I did a 1-year bid there. And so that's what I was doing when I was 22 years old. So you are way ahead of the curve. So don't feel like you're behind. You're definitely ahead of the curve. Also, don't do the negative self-talk. Don't tell yourself that you're behind. Don't tell yourself that you're unemployed. Don't tell yourself that you're broke, because whatever you put out into the universe is usually what you attract. It's what you manifest. So don't manifest that. Tell yourself, how can I get better? How can I become more valuable? And sometimes, especially when you're young, I did it. I think a lot of entrepreneurs or people that are very successful did it. They shadowed people, got mentors, and you know how you do that? Working for free or almost free. I did it for a long time for people. When I started my business, my digital marketing company, I would do sometimes even free jobs just to build my portfolio or to get my foot in. That's like, for example, I get a lot of messages from people on YouTube that watch my YouTube channel, and they are like graphic artists or they're editors. And they send me this long email or a long Instagram message saying, hey, I saw your channel, love it, blah, blah, blah. It's almost like they're copying and pasting. I'm sure they're doing that because I used to do that with email marketing back in the day when we used to do a lot of email marketing, or when I was broke and trying to get digital marketing companies, I would just copy paste a template of email and just fill out a name or whatever. But I get all of those and I never pay attention to them. You know why? Because if I were them, this is what I would do. I would say, hey, Andrew, I saw your channel and I saw this thumbnail. I'm a graphic artist and I can build thumbnails for you that are going to get more clicks. I've already done 2 for you. Here they are. Send them to me via email. If someone did that to me, I'd be like, holy shit, this guy's the real deal. He did exactly what I would do, and now I'm paying attention to him. But if it's just a long email telling me all the experience they have, a link to their portfolio on Behance or their website or whatever, I usually skip those. I'm not going to look at them. So hopefully that helps you. What's up, Shorty? Shorty says, thank you for the stream. Thank you so much for the $5 donation. By the way, all proceeds from donations or from the t-shirt sales, I do sell these t-shirts on a shop here. All of that goes to help Colombia for the English classes in Moravia and the poor neighborhood of Moravia here, which has been a huge help. At the beginning of the year, it costs about $3,000 or more, a little bit. Well, now with the minimum wage increase, it's going to be a little bit more, but between $3,000 to $4,000 to handle the classes for the 3 classes for about 3 months or 3 to 4 months. So like a quarter. We need like $3,000 to $5,000 per quarter to keep it going. So obviously, any help is great help. So thank you for the donation. Thank you for buying the t-shirts. You guys are much appreciated, especially by the Help Colombia. I'll be in Medellin next week, says Ellis. I hope everything is still chill. Yeah, everything is still chill here. Viva Medellin, says note to self guy. Marilyn says, nice. Thank you, Andrew. It's good to work out in that area. Yeah, it is a good workout. Yeah, in Loma de los Bernal, exactly. So yeah, Yusuf, you're good. 22 years old, bro. Just keep grinding, keep hustling, keep trying to get that connection with that next person that's going to be a stepping stone in your life. And since you have marketable skills that you could work online, man, that's amazing. Okay, so let's get to the next pro and con. So the next pro/con is the climate and quality of life in Medellin. So the pro is that the weather is still consistently 75 degrees, around 75 degrees in Medellin. Gets a little cooler as you go into the mountains. It gets a little hotter as you go into the flatter areas like Laureles or downtown Medellin. But it's still great weather. Medellin offers, here's a quote from a website, Medellin Living website. Medellin offers year-round perfect weather for outdoor enthusiasts, from hiking to coffee tours, and this is a huge reason why so many people choose to relocate there, or chose to relocate there in 2025. That was from MedellinLiving.com. That's a website, a different website than my MedellinLivingRealEstate.com. I know it's confusing, but it's real. Okay, so the con, though, is that the air quality and occasional rainy season. Okay, so we talked about the rainy season. I don't really notice it, but I guess if you're new to Medellin, you'll notice that it rains. I don't really care. I don't mind the rain at all. But yeah, you'll notice rain when you get here. So that could be a con for some people coming in 2026. Another one is the air quality. If you come from a place that has amazing air quality, you're going to notice that there's pollution in Medellin. There's a lot of companies, textile companies, a lot of machinery is made. There's coffee being made. There's companies that emit a lot of emissions, right? So there is poor air quality here. It's not the worst in the world, but it's also not the best. And it is noticeable for some people, especially those that come from cities that are, high quality or low pollution, right? While the climate is great, the air quality in Medellin can be poor, especially in the city center. The city struggles with pollution from traffic and industry. Here's a quote from another website. Says, despite the perfect temperatures, air quality can be an issue, and Medellin's rainy season can make outdoor activities difficult, especially in the wettest months, which are April and May. That's like the rainier season. Again, I don't notice it much. I think it's because I don't play basketball anymore. When I used to play basketball almost every day, and all of the courts are outdoor, most of them are outdoor, you notice it. If it's not a covered outdoor court, you notice it, and it's like, it's a bummer because you can't play that day. But now that I don't, I just go to the gym. I play paddle, and most paddle courts are covered. It doesn't really bother me, but it could bother you if you like to do outdoor activities, especially like in the evening. Today it is 6:36 p.m. and it didn't rain at all today. So there are many days where it just doesn't rain, but yeah, it could catch you off guard. What's up, Zombie? Says, is it dry or humid? It's humid here for sure. Brady says, do you foresee the local residents not wanting expats from America coming to reside there? No, I do not foresee that. There's no angst towards Americans, no visible angst. It's not like in the United States that, it's visible. You turn on the television and there's literally wars on the street in different cities like Minneapolis of people just, fighting xenophobia. Here, that's like the complete opposite. Well, maybe not the complete opposite. Oh, I think it is the complete opposite, because here people are friendly no matter where you come from. If you're from the United States, they're still friendly to you. And remember, Colombians, particularly paisas from this area, that's what you call people from here, they're more reserved in their nature, meaning that they're not going to tell you their negative feelings right away. They're not like Americans that wear their emotions on their sleeves. Paisas don't do that. They're very friendly to your face. They may think it. They may like, oh man, this guy's coming in here and gentrifying this neighborhood. They may think it, but it's not visible, and it's not like they're picketing or they're protesting out on the street here. So it's definitely not a thing yet. I don't think it's going to be a thing, particularly because a lot of the people that come here are tourists. They're not staying here. And the people that do stay here are usually great people that actually contribute to society, people that actually pay taxes in Colombia, people that hire, even if it's on a lower level of hiring someone, even if it's through an agency like a cleaner, a cook, a babysitter. So you're contributing to the economy, contributing to society. And Colombians also are aware that if you learn English, you have a leg up and you can make more money, whether it's working for a company online or maybe relocating to an English-speaking country. So they embrace that. So yeah, there's no angst yet, and there's no resistance. And we know now as Colombians that tourism is another big driving force to the economy. It used to not be. Just a few years ago, literally only 3 or 4 years ago, tourism wasn't even a top 10 income stream for the economy of Medellin, just 4 years ago. But that has completely changed with almost 2 million people coming to the city last year. So, okay, that opens up a whole different animal, because now you're talking about, instead of just hundreds of thousands of people coming in to stay in some Airbnbs and some hotels making money, tourism or tourist traps like Comuna 13 and Guatapé making money. Now you're talking about a lot of people can make money. With 2 million people coming down here, there's room for new businesses. There's room for new services. And I think it's only going to continue to grow despite the increase in cost of living. Even though it's going up, it's only going to be maybe 10 or 20% increase this year on cost of living. So yeah, that's, I think the Colombians are embracing that, because it would be stupid not to, right? And Colombians, I mean me, because I am Colombian, and I do embrace it, although I'm biased because I did grow up in the United States, and I feel more American than Colombian sometimes. But yeah, I think most Colombians that are like native Colombians that don't even speak English, they can see an opportunity. I mean, especially here in this city, in this state of Antioquia, or department of Antioquia, they're more go-getters, right? They're more entrepreneurial, so they do see that. Okay, so hey, what's up? Last flight. He says, over the years I've been going to Medellin, I feel the air quality is improving. Yeah, there was a time when they even like shut down public parks and public like gyms, like the outdoor gyms, because the air quality was so bad. Maybe around like 3 to 4 years ago, I remember they shut down things like that year, and they're like, yeah, we can't use these because it's too polluted. Hey, T-Mac, thank you so much for the $9.99 dono. Greetings, Andrew. I went to Pablo Tuono Uribe Hospital today, and they gave me the best experience. They helped me for the past 3 days without pay. Needed help finding special meds. Nice. Wow. Amazing, T-Mac. Thank you for the insight. Let's give that a thumbs up and a heart there. Thank you so much for the donation. T-Mac is a Medellín Masterclass student. He relocated from the United States, and he's been a great asset to not only the Medellín Master community, but or the Medellín Masterclass group. We have a private group on WhatsApp where we talk and we help each other, because we're all entrepreneurs. We're all go-getters. We're all here for the same reason, or I guess a collective same reason, meaning that we want a better life, right? So it's been amazing with the Medellín Masterclass, but he particularly has been also a great asset to the Medellin, to our Help Colombia nonprofit organization for the English classes that we do in the poor neighborhood of Moravia. So thank you, T-Mac, for being amazing. Shorty says, oh, it's an answer there. Let's see. I want to live in Colombia with $1,400 Canadian, or 1,400 Canadian dollars. Is it possible? WWE skills. Yeah, that's definitely possible. You could definitely come here with that. Again, you're not going to be living the ritzy lifestyle, but remember when I got here, I came here with zero. I had to live on a Colombian income, which was basically about like $500 to $1,000 a month teaching English. And then I got like online clients doing digital marketing, where my monthly income went to $1,500. When I was making less than $1,500 a month, actually, until I was making about like $5,000 or $10,000 a month, I was still roommating with people. You know, when I first got here, I was living in a hostel, first of all. So I was paying just to be in a bed in a dorm, because that's all I could afford. And then I roommated with a few people that had bigger apartments where they had maybe 4 rooms, and they would rent one of the rooms. So my rent was cheap in lower income neighborhoods that were safe, that were awesome, that were fun, adventurous. And I slowly started to make more and more money until I found my business partner, and then I roommated with him. We launched our digital marketing company. That was like in 2016, 17. And then once our digital marketing company blew up, then I started to buy my own properties, remodel them, put them up on Airbnb, started the Medellín Masterclass, started the Medellín Living Real Estate Company. And And still to this day, I don't live in any of the apartments that I own. I actually rent because I am one of those people that I'm very fickle. I've been in 8 different neighborhoods, and I think I found a neighborhood that I want to be like a forever home type thing or a forever hub because I will always be traveling. By the way, we're going to the World Cup this year, and we're going to El Carnaval de Barranquilla, the Carnival in Barranquilla. Carnival's in February. I'll be there February 13th to the 16th. And then the World Cup is in June. I'll be going to Mexico City, Guadalajara to watch Colombia play in the World Cup. It's going to be the most amazing thing ever. And I'm going there with my family. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. But anyway, all of that has only come about in the last 15 or less than 15 years, in the last 10 years. So yes, you can. I hope that answers your question. You can come here on $15,000 a month Canadian dollars, which I think in US dollars, like maybe $1,300 or $1,400. I don't know what the exchange rate, but I know that, no, sorry. It's less in US dollars. I know that there's a slight exchange rate there, but yeah, you can do it. But just know that if I were you, I'd be sacrificing and building at the same time so that you could do something else or live in a lower income neighborhood or lower income municipality or little city adjacent to Medellin, like Sabaneta or Envigado if you want your own apartment. It's just lower cost of living in those areas. Okay, there are some affordable places to live there, obviously. Yes, definitely. Yeah, you could find apartments, whole apartments for rent for like $300, $200 in lower income neighborhoods within the city that are still safe and nice, but they're just lower income. They're not as nice as like El Poblado or like the high-end areas of Laureles. Or you can live in lower income cities like Envigado or Sabaneta, La Estrella, even Itagüí, which is down south. Jason says, for any veterans here, there is a Veterans Healthcare Center in Medellin. Yes, thank you for that. Yes, there is a veterans, a VA health center in Medellin and in Sabaneta. I don't know if they got rid of the one in Sabaneta. That was the first one, but yeah, there were 2 at one point. I also went to Arboletes the past weekend. Excellent place for families and couples. My daughter was angry when we left the resort. Oh, I got to check that out. Have you checked out, by the way, have you checked out Cerro Tusa Springs in Venecia, in the town of Venecia? You have to take the family there. It's definitely like a romantic spot for couples, but I went there with my whole family. I even took my parents together. We got like a little 4-bedroom cabana or whatever in Cerro Tusa Springs. We had so much fun, and the baby loved it. We went to the pool. It was great. I'm going to Medellin. The Perp says, I'm going to Medellin the first time on Sunday. Any recommendations for places to go and things to do? I mean, there's so much to do in Medellin. But what most people do out here is go to like Comuna 13, like the electric stairs, and take those tours. There are guided tours. Wherever you're staying, I'm sure they can hook you up with a tour, like an English-speaking guided tour. Or if you speak Spanish, it would be in Spanish with a local tour guide there, which is super fun. You could also go to La Piedra del Peñol in Guatapé. Guatapé is super cool to go to. But just discovering this is what I would do if I was new to the city, and this is what I did when I first got here, because it's the cheapest tour that you could do in Medellin. It costs you 81 cents. You get on the metro, and you don't get off. You don't have to leave. If you want to leave, you can. It's still going to be cheap, because if you get out of the metro station and discover like the neighborhood around it, you're going to have to pay to get back in. But it's 81 cents every time you get in, or about 82 cents. So I would take the metro and go everywhere. I would go to every station, and when I saw a cool one with a lot of shops or a lot of people, I would get off, walk around, because pretty much in every metro station, at the metro station itself, even in downtown, it's pretty safe around the metro station. Just make sure that you are street smart. You know, don't go downtown and get off in Parque en Estación Berrío and like take out your cell phone and start flashing around. I mean, I've done that because I know what I'm doing and I live near there. But if you're new, you know, just keep your cell phone in your front pocket, your wallet in your front pocket, because pickpocketing in downtown is probably the #1 form of stealing out there. It's not rampant. It's not like what it was maybe like 10 years ago. I remember there was a time when they had gangs of people that would pickpocket. Like someone would bump you, and then another person would bump you here, and then you're like, oh my God. Or someone would ask you for directions, and while you're taking out your phone, they're digging into your pocket to take out your wallet or they ask you the time or whatever the case is. So it's not like that anymore, but it could happen. So you just want to be vigilant. But yeah, that's the cheapest thing to do. Get on the metro. Carib says the folks in Real City Tour. Oh yeah, Real City Tours is a good one. Like the walking tour at Real City, I've done it. It's awesome. I've done it in Medellin. I've done it in Cali. I've done it in Bogota. I've done it in Cartagena. They have walking tours for all those cities, and it's free. You just have to book the time that you're going to go. And then when you go there, it's not free. You should pay something. It's a voluntary donation that you give them, but I always tip them very well. I've had some amazing tour guides. So when my parents first got here, a year and a half ago, we did a walking tour of downtown, and it was phenomenal. The guy was amazing. He was funny. He knew history. He knew everything about the sculptures. He knew everything about the building. It was awesome. I learned stuff when I was on there, and I had been here already 14 years. So yeah, definitely look up the Real City walking tour downtown. And I think there's a bike tour now too. In Bogota, I've done the bike tour. I haven't done it here. Yeah, there's a lot of hidden gems as well, like the art gallery in the National Palace. Okay, so we're talking about, for those of you that are just joining, we're talking about the pros and cons of living in 2026 and living in Medellin in 2026 with the new changes that have come about this year. For example, the minimum wage increase. We talked about the first pro and con was the cost of living. It's still affordable if you're making dollars. If you've got over $2,000 a month, you're living really well. $3,000, $5,000 a month, you're still living very well. You're still living at what 20% of the population lives at in Medellin. 20% of the population makes over $3,000. That means that 70% of the population doesn't even make $3,000 a month. If you're making $5,000 or more a month, you're at a high level here, right? You're talking about like doctors, lawyers, or like high level doctors or executives, etc., and business owners. The next pro and con was the climate, meaning that the pro was that the weather's still the same, about 75 degrees across the valley, gets hotter or colder depending on where you are. The con is that the air quality is still not the best in the world. It's not what it was 4 or 5 years ago where they had to shut down public places for exercise and stuff because it was like, I forget what the rating was, but it was like a red rating. It was like a terrible rating. So they had to shut down public areas for exercise. It's not there. It has improved. And somebody in the comments, Flight said that he's been here for a few years and he's noticed that it's gotten better. But it's still not, if you're coming from a place like, in California or anywhere in the world that has really good air quality, here you may feel that change, or maybe if you have allergies. I had a client that came out here and it took him about 2 weeks to adjust his allergies to the city, which was interesting. Okay. Let's see. Exeter Wright, am I saying that right? Whatever. Exeter Wright says, "Hi, Andrew. I know you're a straight dude." Yes, I am straight. But I caught part of your interview on the LGBTQ plus channel. And I'm wondering if you have any insights or advice for those considering relocating to Medellin. So my friend Sam, he's an awesome guy. He's Mexican-American, but now he's like honorary Colombian because he's been here forever. Look up his website, his business, his service. It's called Out in Medellin. OUT in Medellin. That's his service. And he helps people in the LGBTQ plus community either visit or relocate to Medellin. We have a couple of members of the LGBTQ plus community in the Medellín Masterclass that have had success. Everybody that has taken the Masterclass has had some sort of success relocating out here and found a huge amount of value, whether it's saving money. Most people that do join the Medellín Masterclass save money, first of all. And most of all, they save time because the Masterclass basically gives you all of the information that I've learned in 16 years of not only living my life here and making contacts and starting businesses, etc., but also helping people relocate and then giving them to you and being like, okay, let's set up a strategy for what it is that you need particularly, because some people are different. You may have a cat that you want to bring over. All right, so what do you need to bring it over here? You may have big things that you want to don't want to sell in the United States and bring them over here. All right, so let's look for a company that can do that. Things like that where we can help make your transition easier. And then on top of that, you get to join our community. So yes, look up my friend Sam, first of all, and then if you're interested in the Medellín Masterclass, there's a link in the description below. If you want a one-on-one call with me, you could also look up the MedellínMasterclass.com for the info first, and then we can do a one-on-one call to even go further in explaining how we can help. All right, so do you see the elections as a possible driver of demand? So, yeah, the elections in Colombia are interesting. I don't like to get political on the channel much, but the front runner for the elections coming up here in mid-year here, the front runner is the successor to the current president. So he's part of like the same political party, which leans socialist. It's still a capitalist party, but they lean social, which is fine. I mean, I don't mind that as personally. I don't subscribe to any, I don't believe any politician, first of all. But as long as they're about making the city safer, making it more tourist friendly, making more jobs for the country, helping the people that are less fortunate, more infrastructure, I'm all for that. So far, he was the front runner, but he just announced like a couple days ago that he has cancer. Like it was like a bombshell. At least that's what I read or in a forum. And so I think that's going to hurt his chances. So it might sway to the Conservative Party or one of the other parties here. Here, we're not a bipartisan. We're not two parties like in the United States where you have Democrats and liberals, Democrats and conservatives or Republicans. Here you have various parties. So it's a little different. I don't follow it 100%. I've lived here 16 years. I only vote when it's time to vote, and then I inform myself. But I never have those discussions with people. But to answer your question, I think that I think Colombia is going to be, the way that it's going, it's becoming more of a household name around the world for visiting. I know because I live in a neighborhood adjacent to a very touristy area, and I go and work out of those cafes every day, and every day I see new people come through the city from different countries, speaking different languages next to me. Literally as I'm working with, the people that usually go there, we see Americans, Canadians, and Europeans, Australians, New Zealanders, people from all over the world, including Africa, South Africa, and other African countries I've seen here. So it's become more of a name. So I think it's going to continue going in that direction. NY Crypto says, hey, Andrew, just a quick shout out from inside the 50 NYC subway system. Oh my God, you're on the subway right now? Good internet. Can gringos buy property in less desirable areas like Comuna 13? Yeah, anybody can buy a property in Colombia as a whole, no matter where it's at, even in rural Colombia. Obviously, you have to be aware of scams in other cities. In Medellin, it's less scammy, or I've never seen a scam. I've been doing real estate here since I bought my first property in 2017, 2018. And I've never seen someone get scammed on a property like, the title wasn't owned by the person that they sent money to. I've heard of those horror stories in other cities that are less developed, I guess, than Medellin, but here they're pretty good about not having that. But yeah, you could buy it anywhere. Chaz, what's up, Chaz? Hope you're having a good day. Brady says, Andrew, is the tap water safe to drink in Medellin? Yes, it is. For the most part, it is. I've drank it here for 16 years, and I used to be very attractive like Brad Pitt. Now I look the way I look. So that's the only side effect. Other than that, I think you're good. Tito says, are the customs lines very long when flying into Medellin? Sometimes I have seen, sometimes I don't know when. There's no like time that they are. Last year I remember like on weekends they were more full, but I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing now. Our Airbnb clients recently have said that it wasn't that bad, like 30-minute line. I think an hour line was longest so far this year for our Airbnb guests, for all of our guests. But yeah, I don't think it's such a big problem yet. Caesar asks, Fortnite? Yes, I will be getting on Fortnite after this stream. Brun, what's up, Brun Mac? Regarding pollution, I saw a video where the city has been working for years to reduce pollution, and they have been able to decrease the overall temperature in the city by a couple degrees. Yeah, by planting trees out here. Very good point, Brun. Thank you for bringing that up. The city has made strides to make it a cleaner air quality out here. Like I said, a few years ago, there was a time when the air quality was so bad that they had to shut down public parks, public areas to do exercise because it was that bad. But that hasn't happened in a few years now, and it does seem like it's gotten better. I haven't even looked it up. Doesn't affect me. I live in a nice area of El Poblado. I don't live up in the hills, but I don't feel like heavy pollution, to be honest. There was a time when I would look out the window and I'd see like that brown fog or fog in the morning. I'm like, is that fog or pollution? And you didn't know. Now I don't really see that anymore, now that I think about it. Yusuf says, how many apartments on average does one need to buy, own, rent out there to be able to pay themselves money? A decent to great lifestyle in Colombia. That's a loaded question because you could buy a penthouse. For example, I have a friend and I did a video with him. His name is Danny. I did a video with him if you look through my videos in my channel, he worked for Airbnb for a while. So he knows how to manage an Airbnb very well. Now he has a few apartments of his own. He has one of his penthouses here that he bought at a very good deal. He did some upgrades to it, and he manages it himself. He's got a 95% occupancy rate, and he makes over $100,000 a year on that one penthouse. So it just depends. It depends on how you buy it and how you manage it. So if you want to learn, again, the internet's your friend, my friend. Learn and become valuable, and then work for someone that has apartments and be like, yo, I'll work almost for free if you let me learn what you know and how you invest and how you do things. That's the way I did it. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there are other people that have been successful in business and stuff that have done things differently, but that's how I did it. And just finding mentors has been the way that I did it. Ches says, did the temperature degrees go down by 2 because of all the greenery? In some places, yes. I still feel it humid and hot during the day, but I like it. It's not bothersome, and I walk every day. But I do get sweaty, especially after the gym and walking home, obviously from the gym. But if I walk home, like today, I walked home at like 12, and I did a video, and I'm like looking at the footage again. I'm like, holy shit, I'm sweating up a storm over here. I understand you're not a psychic. I am a psychic, though. They call me Miss Andrew. But do you think the USD will recover? Absolutely. The USD over the course of history against the peso has predominantly gone up all the time and will continue to go up and will continue to improve against the Colombian peso. So I think it will, I guess, recover against the peso. So I asked my lawyer, because she's smarter than me, obviously. She's very smart. I asked my lawyer, what is causing this? Is it because the US dollar is declining in value because of all the crap that they're doing? I don't know what's going on with the government over there and economics over there, but is that the case? Or is it because the Colombian economy has gotten stronger? And she said no. She said the driving factor, and don't quote me on this, you can look it up, is that Colombia has sold a lot of its debt to the United States and flooded Colombia with dollars, the Colombian economy with dollars. We don't use dollars here, but in investment dollars. So the dollar has decreased in value against the peso because there's just more of it. That was her quick explanation, because we were doing a real estate meetup. By the way, we do a real estate meetup every month, the second Wednesday. If you're in Medellin, make sure to message me either through Instagram, or if you join the Medellín Masterclass, you're automatically invited. But you can be invited to that if you're an investor, or if you're looking to invest, or if you're a business owner as well. But yeah, so she was just quickly explaining it to me, and I didn't look it up. I haven't had time to research it, but it seems interesting. I don't know. Miami 6563 says, happy Friday. Do you know if Americans can open up a bank account in Colombia? Thank you. Americans can open up a bank account in Colombia, but it's hard. It's hard by way that not every bank is going to open up a bank account just with a passport. As a matter of fact, most of them won't. You may get lucky and go to a branch where maybe they didn't meet the quota that month for opening up accounts, and they're like, yeah, we'll open it for you. That's getting very lucky. You can ensure opening up a bank account by getting a local ID, either through some sort of visa like the digital nomad visa, investor visa, shareholder visa, marriage visa, and getting a local ID. You can also improve your chances by getting an RUT number through the Colombian IRS, which is the DIAN, DIAN. They have a website, and you can get an RUT number, which is a tax ID number, which the bank may ask for alongside your passport or local ID. At the Medellín Masterclass, we do have a secret branch that we go to that will open it for our clients, but that's 16 years of my work. I'm not just going to give it to you right now. You're going to have to pay for that. But that's why you pay for the Medellín Masterclass. Jordan says, how long would you recommend coming to experience Medellín for? To experience living there. Also, is there a demand for videographers in the content creative industry? I don't know the last part of your message, the answer to that, because I'm not in the content creative industry in Medellín. I know that Medellín pushes a lot of the musical talent there is a lot of musical talent out of Medellín. A lot of actors and stuff also come out of here, but as far as production, I don't know. That's a good question. Good question to research. And how long to experience Medellín? I think a month would do it. If you're only coming here for a week or two, you're still in honeymoon phase. But after a month, more than a month, you're like, okay, now I'm I get into a routine. I've discovered the neighborhood that I'm in. I love it. I'm going to get into a routine and I'm going to be productive. I'm going to work on my business from said time and then discover the city from said time, go to the gym at said time. So you actually have a routine. And because the weather is pretty predictable, it's either going to rain lightly. If it does rain, it's going to be for a short time, but the weather is usually very similar every single day. You could plan out your days. I mean, I do. My routine is very similar every single day. If it weren't for the fact that I am doing a live video today and it's Friday, I wouldn't know that it's Friday because my days are pretty much the same. I have a notepad where I have a checklist of things to do that morning, and that's what I do at my cafe. When I go to the cafe in the morning, I write out, okay, this is what I need to get done today. The 3 top things that are going to move the needle by way of making more money or being more productive. These are the top 3 things, and then there's going to be other sub things. But what I'm trying to say is that if you're here for over a month, you can get into that routine where you're productive and you're actually living a life. T-Mac says, I have several bank accounts in Colombia, but most of them require a cedula. A cedula is the local ID, by the way, unless you know someone in the inside and you need an RUT number. Yes, thank you, T-Mac. Yeah, T-Mac, again, part of the Medellín Masterclass. I just opened up an account at New Bank. We were talking about that in the Masterclass private group. But yeah, NU Bank here. Good one. Good bank. Algo Grande says, you think properties will sell like hotcakes when the USD recovers? Usually that is the case. When the USD shoots up, people start investing because they have money and the money goes a longer way. But it also means that property prices go up accordingly as well. It's not like locals are like, oh, there's a higher demand, I'm just going to keep my property lower. It usually goes up with the dollar. So it's not like you're getting great deal. You can get great deals, but it's just like any other market in the United States, in the world, where you have to do research. You have to pound the pavement or make phone calls, be up to date on everything that's happening. And when a property goes up for sale, you're like, oh, that one is not even listed with an agency and it's direct with the owner and it needs to be remodeled and it's at 5,000 per square meter, 5,000 pesos per square meter, where the neighborhood itself is 8,000 per square meter. So it's a screaming deal, or 10,000 per square meter, depending on the neighborhood. Michael, what's up, Michael, or Michelle? Well, it's Michael. Michael says, enjoying the channel, Andrew, from Kentucky. Nice. But enjoying the weather down here in Medellin. Have you played any golf yet? I have played a round of golf, guys. I'm going to be joining the Rodeo Country Club here. They have an 18-hole course in Belen. It's like Belen area, and it's fun. It's a fun course, and The weather here makes it awesome to play in, especially in the mornings. So I went in the morning with a couple friends, and the country club itself is awesome. To play around, if you're not a member of the country club, is 250,000 pesos. So it's kind of pricey, which is like 40 or 50 bucks for the 18 holes. I think it's less, obviously, for 9 holes. And they do have a driving range, a putting area, and a chipping area, which is cool. Where in Medellin is a good area for a single mom with an 11-year-old? Making around $3,000 a month. El Poblado. Look at an area called La Frontera. There are some really good schools around there, including the British school, which teaches in English and Spanish. It's called the British School. That one's in Envigado, but it's right next to a neighborhood called La Frontera. That could be a really good area. You could start there, but pretty much anywhere in El Poblado is going to be good. It just depends, again, on whether you like hills or not. If you don't mind hills, if you're going to be taking Ubers everywhere, or maybe even getting a car out here, then you can live in the hills. With $3,000 a month, you could pretty much live in most areas of El Poblado, which is the nicest neighborhood of all of Medellin, or Laureles. But Laureles is just more dense. I don't know with an 11-year-old if you'd want to live in Laureles, because of how dense it is. And I know at 11 years old, I had a bunch of activities. And I have friends that have kids that have activities where they have to go to the activity, like soccer practice, basketball practice, karate, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu is big out here now. And then they have to go to that area. And in Laureles, it's way more congested and dense because it's like in the middle of the city. So getting around might be more difficult, especially if you're doing Ubers, etc. So think about that. But yeah, I would start in El Poblado, in the neighborhoods like La Frontera, even like Patio Bonito, Santa Maria de los Angeles, and then moving around to see what you like. What's up? Emails over coffee says, where in Medellin is a good area for a single... Oh, that was you. Sorry. Rami Travel says, I've never been to Medellin. How is it? It's terrible. You don't want to come. Exter Wright says, thanks for the guidance and your response, Andrew. I appreciate it. No problem. Ches says it's lovely. Don't believe Ches. He's never watched the channel. He doesn't know what he's talking about. What's up, Ruel says, when we bought our apartment, when the dollar was at 3,800 Colombian pesos to a dollar in 2024, and we are glad we did, waiting for the dollar to go up as the real estate prices go up, basically cancels out the dollar again. Yeah, exactly. So, for example, Ruel's a really good, he's a friend. By the way, we're doing Super Bowl at your house again this year. Anyway, Ruel's a good friend, and his wife is a good friend as well. Her girlfriend is a good friend of mine. And they bought an apartment out here. They rented on Airbnb. They remodeled it in my same neighborhood. And I believe it's going well. And despite buying it, no matter when you buy, particularly if it's going to be an investment, it's going to appreciate. You will make Colombian pesos. And I think that's one of the big things that I tell people when they come down here and they want to buy property out here, whether it's for investment purposes or lifestyle purposes. I tell them it's going to appreciate. Over time, it will appreciate. It's an appreciating asset. If you rent it out and make money, great. That's awesome. And if that's your MO, I can help you find a good apartment, or my team can help you find a great apartment that you can remodel, buy it at a very low price, and make 10% plus return on investment, or ROI, or cap rate. But most of all, make sure that it's a lifestyle play too, because a lot of the time you're going to be coming down here and staying at it. Make sure that it's in a neighborhood that you like, in an area that you love, in a place where you could be like, yeah, the next 10 years I could be coming back and maybe even retiring in this location. So that's a really big thing to consider. Chaz says, you just don't get a motorcycle. It's dangerous. Yeah, I guess a motorcycle here is pretty dangerous. I had one for a little bit because an employee of mine left it when he went to go travel, and I only used it 2 times. I'm like, yeah, I'm good walking or taking an Uber. Ubers are like negligible price. It's like $4 on average or $5 on average Uber ride. Yeah, getting a motorcycle and risking your life is not really. I have my own car and I don't even use it. Remy says, can you help me rent an apartment for 2 months? Airbnbs are terrible. You mean like finding an apartment for yourself? Yeah, you can find. I can't. We don't do rentals. We have our own properties that we rent out on Airbnb, though. It's not, and we can rent them off of the platform to you. So I can show you our Airbnbs that we have, but we only have around 7 right now. So it's not like a big inventory. And I also have my friend Rick, who has 40 Airbnbs now. I think he has about 40. You may know him, Rick Kwan. He has about 40 Airbnbs out here that he manages. And again, that he could be contacted. But as far as maybe if you have your own apartment and you need it rented out, as long as it's in El Poblado and it's a 5-star apartment, we can help. That's our property management company is called 5-Star Hosts. So we can definitely help you there. Just send me a message. You can email me at MedellinBuzzAndrew@gmail.com. Hi, says Raul. Hi, Raul. How do you transfer a good amount of funds to Colombia? Or does it have to be to an investment company? Thanks. You will have to use, most people use a Colombian brokerage account. So not like a Charles Schwab, not a brokerage account from the United States like Charles Schwab. You open up an account at a brokerage firm in Colombia. And the one that I always recommend and that all of our clients that buy properties usually use is Alianza. Alianza, and you can look them up, Alianza. If you join the masterclass or if you become a real estate client of ours at the Medellin livingrealestate.com company, we will give you our contact that speaks English and he walks you through opening it up. It takes just literally hours to open up the account and it acts as a bank account. So when you find the property, you don't have to fund it right away. Once you find the property, you've negotiated the price, you've come to terms on when you're going to be sending that initial 10% deposit when you're going to sign the purchase agreement, then you send 10% or the whole amount if you want. 10% of the, you do a wire transfer from your bank account in the United States or Canada or Europe into your Colombian brokerage account. They hold the money and then they will release the money either via wire transfer to the seller's account in Colombia or do a bank check that will be given to them when you go sign the purchase agreement. And then when you close, same thing. You send the money over, or if it's already in that account, you could do a bank check or a direct wire into their Colombian bank account. It's pretty easy. Since there is no escrow company here, people use the brokerage firm because it's guaranteed that your money is not going to be stolen or anything like that. And you're only going to release it once paperwork is signed. Not before, not after. That day when you sign at the notary and it's notarized and now, you know, there's a contract in place with your lawyer that's reviewed it, et cetera. That's when you release your down payment. And then when you go sign the title and close at the notary, you deliver the rest of the money over to the seller. Hope that makes sense. Etienne says, hola, ¿qué tal? Do you know the place that has great New York style bagels? Yes. Shit, what's the name? There's a couple, influencer couple. Well, help me out, guys, in the chat. There's a influencer couple from the United States that set up a bagel shop in Medellin. What's the name of that? I think they're called Expat Medellin or Expats Medellin, but the bagel shop, it's in Barrio Manila. Medellin, and I think in Laureles too. Otro Bagel. Yeah, that's what it's called. Otro like other in Spanish. It's called Otro Bagel. OTRO Bagel. I think those are the best bagels that I've had, but there's another company that makes bagels out here that sells it to famous cafes like Café Revolución in Laureles. They have great bagels there from a supplier that makes really good bagels from New York. He's a guy from New York. And also Hija Mia. Hija Mia uses their bagels. Great. I have a quick tidbit about me. When I find something good, I basically have that almost every day. And I have a breakfast bagel from Hija Mia almost every day. That's if I don't go to another cafe. Yeah, Brun Mac, yes. I think they're in Laureles as well. Someone should just open up a bagel shop called New York Bagels. Yeah. I think they've tried that. Colombians don't like bagels, and the thing is that it's not a thing to eat bagels. Most people say, Colombians are like, it's chewy, it doesn't taste good or whatever, because it's not part of their palate. It's not part of their custom to eat a bagel. I've never seen like a bagel company that exploded out here. I think Otro Bagel does well because it's owned by influencers, and my friend from New York, his bagel production company has done well because he provides bagels to cafes, and mostly cafes in touristy areas. So they depend on the tourist market, not on the local market. I've always told people that if you're going to start a business in Colombia, your number one audience should be Colombians, because that's who has the money here. And it's just by sheer mass, more clients will come. If you just cater to expats, that's a fine line, because what if like the dollar doesn't rebound and then you don't have any travelers, or 50% of the travelers are coming through? Then you're like, oh shoot, now I have a business that doesn't cater to locals, so I'm not making any money, and the foreigners aren't coming in. So I would think that twice. Arepa bagel, yeah. An arepa bagel could be a good one. Andrew, do you recommend needing to open up a bank account in Colombia? So if you open up a bank account, having a Colombian bank account makes your life easier in Colombia. Anywhere you go in Colombia, especially if it's Bancolombia. Bancolombia is used pretty much everywhere, especially in Medellin. It's used everywhere. So, for example, you may come to like a mom and pop shop and you don't have any cash on you, but they'll have the QR code, and maybe they don't have like the data phone or what do you call it in English? I think it's called a data phone. The card reader. They don't have the card reader set up there, and they only accept cash or transfers into their Bancolombia account. And they'll have a QR code. And if you've got the Bancolombia app, you just say transfer via QR, read it, boom, and transfer right to them. And you don't need to carry cash. So I like having that Bancolombia option because I don't like to carry cash. I don't even carry a wallet. I don't even have my ID on me, because now Colombia has a virtual ID for the local cedula or the local ID. So I don't even have to carry a physical ID. I don't carry any cards. I just carry my iPhone and make payments using Apple Pay or the transfer. Yeah, so Bancolombia is the best, obviously, because it's widely used. What would be the disadvantage of paying directly? Is the biggest disadvantage, Tio? Good question. The biggest disadvantage to paying a seller of a property directly, like wiring money from your U.S. bank account into their Colombian bank account, is that you don't have any control of that money coming into the country, and they would have to fill out the form to register the investment with the Colombian National Bank. And you don't know what number they're registering, or if they register at all. So it can work if you have a really good relationship with the seller, and your lawyer is going to take care of everything and make sure that it is registered. So it can happen that way. It's just riskier if it's someone you don't know. I always recommend just use the brokerage firm. They charge 1% on the amount transferred in. So it's not like a huge amount of money that you're paying for that service, and it gives you more peace of mind. But yeah, you can transfer. But again, the biggest disadvantage is that you don't know how they're going to legalize the money into Colombia or using the Colombian National Bank. It's better if you have control of that. So if you transfer it into your own brokerage account, the brokerage company and your lawyer would be on top of that to make sure that it is registered with the National Bank. The investment is registered with the National Bank. Let's see. Did I miss anything here? Okay, that's good. I think we're good. If you have any other questions, let me know. Wait, South Park says, I spend a lot of time in Santa Marta, and it's hard to find great Mexican food. Can you find it there? For reference, I'm born and raised in Southern California. So I lived in Southern California for 24 years of my life. I've never had a good burrito in Colombia. Period. I've never had a good burrito. I've been in Colombia for 16 years. I've never had a chorizo breakfast burrito. That blew my mind. I've never even had a chorizo breakfast burrito at all in Colombia, in Medellin. You can find some like good Mexican, you have like some good taco shops and stuff. But no, don't come here expecting world-class cuisine from other countries. We don't have, it's not like Medellin or Colombia is a hub for immigrants to come in here and make a better life. They go to places like the United States, developed countries in Europe, Canada. And that's why you have such great immigrant food out there, because you attract immigrants that want to live and work there, and they make their little cities, right? Like little Tokyo. There's like a little Columbia in like Boston, right? New Jersey, New Hampshire even. I've heard people that there's like in LA, there's like Colombian districts now. So you have like all these little hubs. Here, you don't have that. Here, there is a little hub for Indians though. Like they're because Bancolombia's headquarters is here, like the biggest bank in Colombia, Bancolombia's headquarters is here. A lot of their developers are from India. So there are a couple of really good Indian restaurants. There's a Pakistani restaurant, which is one of my, I would say, top 5 restaurants in all of the city is a Pakistani restaurant called Chapati Halal, which is great. There's also really good Mediterranean here. Laziz is my favorite. That's like my top 3 restaurant is Laziz in El Poblado. Love that. Oh man, it's pricier. It's pricier than going to regular restaurants out here, but the food, the quality, oh man, I can't, the goat. Oh, it's so good. So good. I wish I had that right now. Maybe I'll have a live stream where I'll order it and show you and make you hungry. T-Max says, if you don't go through a brokerage, a local bank account, a local Colombian bank, when you wire a large amount of money, the money might not be legalized and the government won't recognize it as a legitimate transfer. Exactly. You need to be on top of that. Love Sosa says, if you have to guess, what do you think, how much will you need to live out in Colombia? Luxury in 2068? I don't know. In 40 years from now, I'll probably be dead. So I don't even, but my kid might be, my kid will be 40 years old. So he better have his own properties and stuff. In 2068, I don't know. Can somebody in the chat tell me what the cost of living will be in Colombia to live luxury in 2068? I don't know. That's when I'll be retiring. How about you retire like next year? You could literally retire in Colombia if you're making $3,000 a month. Really good. $5,000 luxury. $5,000 a month luxury. Work on that passive income, my guy. You could do it. You can do it. I believe in you. Because if I could do it, anybody could do it. I'm non-educated. Didn't go to university. Have been arrested. Got deported in 2010. And I can do it. And I can start a YouTube channel where people watch me live and watch my videos. And now the YouTube channel pays me money every month. YouTube does. Anybody could do it. You probably have a better chance than I can. Ruel says there is no good Mexican food in Colombia. Yes, thank you, Ruel. Yeah, Mexican food compared to Mexico and Southern California, or maybe even Texas, like Tex-Mex. Yeah, you're not going to find it. You don't have Mexicans working in the kitchen. You have Colombians trying to do Mexican food, and they just don't know it. They don't know how to do it as well. And also the ingredients are different. Even the water is different. A lot of people say that's why New York-style bagels and New York-style pizza tastes the way it does in New York. It's because the water, even down to the water, it's different. So you're never going to get that authentic taste no matter what. But you could get good stuff. Like here, like I said, Indian food, Pakistani food. There are a couple good restaurants because they have Indians and Pakistanis making the food. My luxury cemetery plot will be paid off. Will be paid off. Will be paid off, says Chalupe. Yeah, me too. Hopefully. Mac and Cheese says, I spent a few months in Medellin in 2023, planning to come back for a few months this year. Anything new I should be aware of? You're planning to come back for a few months. There's a lot of new stuff that have come up, like new restaurants, new cafes, new attractions for tourists. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. Obviously, prices for hotels and Airbnbs have gone up since 2023, so look out for that. Just spend some time doing research and finding the best place. But yeah, there's a lot to do now. Tacos al pastor, yeah, man. I miss El Campeón in San Juan Capistrano. We used to live near, well, my parents had a business in San Juan Capistrano in Southern California. There's a Mexican restaurant, taco shop called El Campeón, and they made the best al pastor tacos, lengua tacos, buche, cabeza, everything tacos, man. And the burritos were like this giant. As like, I miss that. That's one of the only reasons I miss Southern California, other than the sports and my friends and surfing. I don't miss the cost of living out there, of course, and I don't miss all this crazy politics stuff that you guys are having going on over there. But I do miss my Mexican people, man. But I'm very happy to be going to the World Cup this year in June to Mexico City and Guadalajara. I will be getting fat that month. All right, so guys. Quick question. How many of you guys, when you travel to Medellin, would like to learn Spanish? Like actually take classes out here, Spanish classes? That's a question for you. Or how many of you have taken Spanish classes out here, whether it was with a private tutor or group classes? How many of you guys have done that? Have you taken classes when you came out here? Do you hope to take classes out here? Yeah, you take classes. RIP AK Joel's channel. Yeah, I plan on taking classes. I'm thinking about it for my son, says Brun. I get lessons for free from Facebook Buddy. Awesome. That's great. Sorry, okay. I just had to message my programmer real quick. So yeah, let's see. I learn every week from your Facebook buddy. Nice. Duolingo, 700-day streak. Wow, amazing. Yeah. Evil says that he would take classes as well. I studied at Toucan Spanish in a school in El Poblado. I never took Spanish, says T-Mac. I just studied alone. And my novia helps you. Yeah, that's a really good way to learn Spanish, is to have the novia or someone that speaks Spanish to you every day. I study Spanish on YouTube, says Exit. Okay, awesome. That's great. That's market research. So I told you at the beginning of the stream that many of you know that I have a few businesses out here. The first one is the Medellín Living Real Estate.com company, where we sell real estate to foreigners and locals, or even locals that live abroad that want to buy property out here. We do both markets. Most of our clients are foreigners, but we do have local clients, and we have attacked the local market this year as well. It's called MedellinLivingRealEstate.com. I also have the Medellín Masterclass, which is a relocation masterclass and private group of individuals, like-minded individuals that are entrepreneurs, that are investors, that are high net worth individuals, or have great careers, that are just transferring their life out here, whether it's part-time or full-time. That's the MedellinMasterclass.com. What else do I have out here? Oh, the property management company, which is called 5-Star Hosts, where we manage our clients that buy properties from us and want to put them up on Airbnb. We've never gotten less than a 5-star review on any of the properties that we manage, and including my own properties. So now, this year in 2024, I'm starting a new business. So there's a gap in the Spanish learning market in Colombia. In Colombia, or at least in Medellin. In Medellin, there is no evening or night Spanish classes. There are classes, night classes for everything out here. Obviously for locals, English classes, universities have night classes, etc. But there's no Spanish school that caters to people that are living in Medellin or maybe staying here for a month, but that want to discover the city during the day or work during the day because they're digital nomads, but want to take courses in a group, in a classroom setting in the evening. So let me share my screen real quick. Let me show you what we're launching here. This is not launched, by the way. This is a sneak peek into what we're doing here in a couple of days. Where the heck is the link? Oh, there it is. This is on a private server, so Let me pull it up. And I'll share my screen. There we go. Okay, how can I share my screen here? Share screen. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so here is the chat. That's not what I wanted to share, but let me change the window here. Okay, so this is what we're working on here. Let me move myself out of the way so that you could see. If you're coming to Medellin and you want to take courses in the evening from 5 to 7 p.m., we have now, we're going to be launching in a couple days. It's called Nomad Spanish. NomadSpanishMedellin.com. It's not live. This is on a private server. It will be live in the next couple days. If you're going to be studying Spanish in Medellin and you want to take monthly courses, if you're going to be here for a month, you get 40 hours for $300 for the month. And that's with I've partnered with a school that has been here for 10 years, and they're the top rated school. They're Toucan and Total and Valley, all of their competition. They don't hold a candle to the company that I've partnered with. And that's the teachers that are going to be teaching this class or the classes. And on top of that, we're going to do a language exchange every single day from 7 to 9 p.m. after the classes. So where locals come in, they could practice their English with you, and you can practice your Spanish with the locals. And it's going to be in Barrio Manila, in the Manila neighborhood. If you've been to Medellin, then you know. That's going to be $299 per month for 40 hours worth of classes a week. Or if you just want to do the weekly rate, if you're here for a week, it's $85 for the week for 10 hours for that week. Sorry, it's 10 hours a week, 40 hours for the month. You get daily group classes from 5 to 7, 10 hours of classes per week or 40 for the month. You study with students at your exact level because you get a placement test first. We teach all levels from A1.1. There's 15 different levels up to C1. There's small group classes. There are one-on-one private classes if you need them, and we can schedule that for you. There's a nightly language exchange. It's going to be till 11 p.m., open until 11 p.m. for drinks and mingling, but the actual language exchange will be from 7 to 9. Evening schedule designed for working professionals or people that want to discover the city during the day, take evening classes. And the curriculum is by our top-rated school. So, yeah, that's called Nomad Spanish, and I know it's going to be super successful because, I don't know, that's the way that I am. So let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know if you're interested. If you are interested and you want to be on the waiting list, if you know your dates when you're coming down here, whether it's in a month, whether it's next week, there's a link in the description below where you could fill out the form to be on the waiting list, where you get information once it's launched in a couple of days so that you could book, because we have a limited amount of students in the beginning. It's going to be a limited amount of 80 students that can fit in all of our classrooms until we expand. So you'll be the first students at Nomad Spanish, NomadSpanishMedellin.com. There's a link in the description below for that form. You can fill it out, and yeah, you could check it out. Hey, Nate, so sorry that I missed your donation. $10 donation from Nate. Thank you so much. Andrew, can you buy multiple properties totaling the minimum around you recommended for Colombian residency, or do you recommend buying one property at the total amount needed for residency? It would be one property, as far as I know so far, from my attorney. But if you want, I can hook you up with my attorney, or you can ask the attorneys at nexo.legal. I always shout them out because they're great. Nexo.legal. Instead of .com, it's .legal. You can hit them up and ask them that particular question. But as far as I know, it has to be one property that amounts more than the minimum investment required and a requirement. And your name has to be on the title. It can't be owned by like a company or anything. It can't be two combined investments, it has to be one property. Hope that answers that question. Can we get a student visa through nomadspanishmedellin.com? No, we don't do student visas. This is just for people that want to come down here and study in the evenings from 5 to 7. Is there an age limit? No, we've had kids in there as well. So no, there's no age limit. We can work with you. We're flexible with that. Exit says, I would definitely take Nomad Spanish classes if I end up choosing Medellin over Oriente. Nice, yeah. Coming down from Minneapolis at the end of the month, says Michael, for 10 days and would like to meet yourself or someone from your real estate team if available. We're staying in El Poblado. Yeah, you can fill out our form at, here, let me share it with you here so that you can check it out at MedellinLivingRealEstate.com/buy. Yeah. Here, I'll share the form with you. If you go to MedellinLivingRealEstate.com/buy, you'll find the form. I'll put it in the chat here for you. And you could fill out that form and then somebody on the team will get back to you and then we can schedule everything. We'll start chatting on WhatsApp and strategizing, but it's MedellinLivingRealEstate.com/BUY. Buy. You can copy paste that into your browser. All right. So Chaz says all those students that pass will have a big graduation party. Then they have an aguardiente hangover so badly that they forget all their Spanish. Yeah, probably. Yeah. So okay. So rounding off. Let me see. Where are we? Oh yeah, we still have time, and I still haven't gone through all of the content that I was talking about here. Let me pull up my notes. The pros and cons of living in Medellin in 2026 or visiting even according to the new updates. So the next pro and con that I want to talk about is healthcare. The pro is that the healthcare quality and affordability is still very, very affordable. Meaning that if you're like 45 years old, don't have any big health issues, for the top-notch healthcare in Colombia, you have to pay $1,700. But that's not a month. That's for the whole year. $1,700 around that. It all obviously depends on you and your health and everything. But yeah, it's about $1,700 for a single person that's like in their 40s, because I know that's what I was paying before I had the baby. So it's very affordable and it's very high quality. Love the doctors here. And it's also like a different culture here when it comes to healthcare, because it seems like the doctors here actually want to help you. They're not just in it to, have you pay the premium or, your premium, or only help you to get go to the pharmacy, right? Get a prescription. They don't push that as much as like in the United States. That's the same feedback that I've gotten from a lot of the people that we've helped relocate out here as well. So it definitely feels like healthcare, the system is just better. It's like actual care. But they actually worry about the care part here, to the point where, for example, our pediatrician and my doctor, I have them on WhatsApp. I can message them whenever I want. And if something is really wrong, they'll say, okay, make an appointment. And then I'll make the appointment and go. But yeah, it's amazing. Is there a school close to Laureles? Everything is close to Laureles. That's the good thing. But yeah, there's plenty of Spanish schools in Laureles, but none of them do night classes or evening classes. They're all usually during the day. So if you have availability, you could look at, just Google top Spanish school in Laureles and you'll find a few. But you'll never find an evening class one. We are the only ones. nomadspanishmedellin.com. And that will be being launched here soon. There's a link in the description if you do want to be on that waiting list and get more info on it once it's launched. Okay, so yeah, healthcare in Colombia is still affordable despite the minimum wage increases and the slight increase on cost of living so far. It's still very affordable. Nothing has changed really. The con with healthcare in Colombia is that if you are on the public healthcare system or even the free healthcare system here, if you're like lower income, it's a whole different animal. It's a whole different dynamic. The paid and private health insurance, awesome. Like, can't get enough of it. Sometimes I don't have anything wrong and I just want to go. No, I'm just kidding. But you get what I'm saying. It's great. But now if you're on like the public health care, it could be a nightmare, meaning that long wait lines, not very attentive staff, etc. So just like probably the same problems that you have in the US with like the cheaper versions of the healthcare out there, it's the same thing here because there's, overpopulated medical centers, hospitals, emergency rooms. So if you have the private health insurance, it's a completely different experience as to the public health insurance. That's the biggest con, in my opinion, because I do have people that are friends of mine that are lower income and that do pay the public health insurance. Most of them are young, so they don't really care. But if it's an older person, I do have an old cleaning lady that got cancer, and she's on the public health insurance, and they treated her for everything. She's getting over it now, which is awesome. She's getting better through the public one or the free one, the free version, which is still great for her. But yeah, the experience is not like top notch. Just like I guess anywhere in life or anything in life, if you pay for what you get, right? Or you get what you pay for. In public healthcare, are the prescriptions covered? I don't know. I've never done it, so I don't know. And my cleaning lady, I haven't talked to her, or my former cleaning lady, I haven't talked to her about it. But yeah, that's a good question. So that's the pros and the cons of healthcare in 2026 so far. The pros and the cons of visas in Colombia. So digital nomad visa is still available in Colombia, and it's a pretty clear pathway for the digital nomad visa. Everything has gone up 23% for visas, for migrant visas, for example, like the investor visa, the shareholder visa, the business visa, from what it was last year. So that's a bummer, where last year it was like closer to $135,000 minimum investment into a property. This year it's like $163,000. It's like $30,000 more for the minimum investment visa for a property owner. So instead of $135,000 this year, it's at $160,000, and next year it's probably going to go up 10%, just like minimum wage goes up incrementally, almost by 10% year over year. It might be less, it might be more next year. So just be wary of that, or at least be aware of that, and contact a competent lawyer like the people at Nexo at nexo.legal, or if you work with us at the Medellín Living Real Estate Company, you'd be working with our attorney or our ally. Her name, she's not part of our company, but she's our attorney. Her name is Juliana. Awesome. One of the best people I've ever worked with, period, on anything. She's just so smart, so on top of it, so responsive that I recommend her to everybody that works with us. But even if you do work with us and you want to go with someone else, you're allowed to, or obviously that's your decision. But we're also in the know, so we would be helping you vet that person, or at least working with them to get the paperwork required for you to get your visa, to purchase your property, etc. So yeah, the visas have been affected. 23% more increase on minimum investments, whether it's property, whether it's a shareholder or starting a business out here, or digital nomad or retiree visa. 23% increase to what it was last year. But it's not like it's astronomical, especially for like a retiree or the digital nomad visa. I believe last year it was $1,200. You had to show with the retiree visa, you had to show about $1,200. I think this year it's closer to $1,500. So it's still not astronomical, but it is a change, and it could be a big change for some people. So make sure that you are in the know. I read that as of recently, the retirement visa no longer permits the public health care option. Oh, I did not know that. Good question, or good point. Hey, what's up, Banny? Hello, Andrew, and you all. Thank you. Hello. Hope you're having a great evening. So those are the pros and the pros of the visas is that they're still pretty easy to get. I mean, it's just paperwork. It's not like they're denying visas for people left and right, like in the United States. But there are pros. The pro is that it's easier. It's easy. It's still easy. The con is that it has gone up because the minimum wage increase of 23%. Safety concerns, pros and cons, 2026. So 2025 was a good year for crime, meaning that it went down, not that crime pays. No, it went down. Crime rate went down in the valley in Medellin. Also, kidnapping, car thefts. I think the only thing that went up was like motorcycle thefts, or at least was on par to 2024, because there's so many motorcycles and probably a lot of chop shops that motorcycle thefts were high. But for example, the homicide rate also went up compared to 2024, but not by a lot. It wasn't like an astronomical increase. It's still, I think, less than like Detroit or Baltimore or even like Chicago or Louisiana or places like Louisiana or places like Louisiana in the United States. So the crime rate actually went down last year, which is good for 2026 because hopefully we can continue on that path where petty theft goes down, keeps going down. And I think petty theft has gone down because I have noticed, and I do feel it when I walk out on the street, particularly at night and in my neighborhood, which is a flat neighborhood adjacent to major highways, where if someone from a poor neighborhood comes on a motorcycle, two guys on a motorcycle, and steal my cell phone, they're on the highway in less than 3 minutes on a motorcycle, maybe less than 3 minutes. Yeah. Walking in this neighborhood, I feel completely safe at night because of two things. I think the city has done a great job of putting cameras all over the city so that if there is a theft and you report it right away, there have been instances where they actually catch the people before they even get to their house or their hood or their barrio up in the hills. Number two is that they've made it more well lit. Like there were parts of neighborhoods out here that were just dark, and I could understand. Yeah, it's going to be more dangerous because criminals could hide in the dark. Now they're a little brighter at night, which makes it nicer for people that want to walk at night. Now I see people walking at night, walking their dogs. It's like a common thing, where 10, 15 years ago, it wasn't as common. People were kind of weary to do that in certain neighborhoods. Now it feels safer. I do feel like it's probably the safest I've ever felt in my 16 years here. The most unsafe I've ever felt in my 16 years here was when COVID hit, right after when they opened up everything. And we had the biggest lockdown in all of the world, I think it was, in Medellin, or at least Colombia was the biggest lockdown. We were locked down. Luckily, I escaped to Mexico. But when I came back and everything opened up, the crime rate was high. It was like everyone that was not, making any money during that lockdown, they all came out and started stealing. And I wouldn't walk outside at night with my cell phone out and stuff like I do now. I'd make videos at night sometimes, and I feel completely safe. But back then it was like, okay, where am I? Where's the nearest cop? And it seems like there were more criminals than there were cops. Now it's completely the opposite for me, at least. I feel safer. I feel happier. I feel confident when I go out, and I haven't had it in 16 years. I've never been robbed, but and then I also have heard less stories from friends, people that I know. The only stories that I've heard as of like last year were people that got drugged and robbed. Like people that I was at the bar watching the basketball game, watching a football game, and the guy next to me said, yeah, I was drugged and robbed. And it was like, I've been here for a week, and my first 2 days we were just on a alcohol and drug binge and getting prostitutes. And I was like, okay, that would do it. That would do it for sure. And I mean, we brought girls over from Tinder or whatever, met them, and they brought their friends over, and we got robbed. Like, okay, though that makes more sense. Those are the headlines that I saw the most in 2026 or 2025, or even like the word of mouth stories that were coming from the people that I met at the sports bar, or through the various Facebook groups, etc. But like being held up at gunpoint, like that's like not something that I heard as a commonplace in 2025, which I think is good, and I hope that it continues 2026. Hey, thank you, Nate, for the $10 dono again. Thanks, Andrew, for your response. I look to arrive there sometime late fall to purchase something with your company. Working with Alianza was super simple too. Oh, you already got, dang, awesome, man, awesome. Yeah, you already got your brokerage account set up. All we got to do is sit down with you or via a call on WhatsApp or texting, figuring out exactly what you're looking for so that we could give you a list of options before you come down here so that you can vet them, and then we schedule viewings. That's one of the part of the business that I find fun is actually viewing properties, but it's the part of the business that I'm not doing anymore. I'm not a real estate agent anymore at the Medellín Living Real Estate Company. I was for the first year, but now that my brother and AK are killing it with that, I'm like, you guys make the money. You guys will make money selling. I'm good. I'm good with the percentage that the company will make. And let me focus on what I'm good at, which is this: marketing, getting the attention to the company, people in, getting people to trust our company, showing the results of it. So yeah, I'm doing the thing that I love and that I'm good at, and I'm letting them do what they're good at. So hopefully we will be scaling this year as well. So looking forward to meeting you, Nate, though. I do meet the clients when they come here, though. Which is awesome. We'll maybe have lunch or something. And if you're into sports, we can maybe have a beer on a Saturday or something, watch some sports. What's up, Cartwheels? Thank you so much for the emojis. Jesse says Juliana is the best. Yes, Jesse. How you doing, Jesse? Juliana is the best, man. I love Juliana. Pradan says, and people with motorcycles can get gigs like Uber, Didi. Yeah, that's right. Hey, you bring up a good point. I didn't think of that. People in lower income neighborhoods, any income neighborhood, could work on doing Rappi, doing pickup, doing rides on the motorcycle, doing delivery on the motorcycle. And I've met delivery dudes that make like $2,000 a month doing Rappi and combining it with like private messenger stuff for companies. I met a guy that was making $2,000. Like, what? Doing Rappi in Medellin, but he was working for companies as a courier. And also, but he started as Rappi, and I thought that was amazing. And now he does bike tours for foreigners as well. So he makes more money because of that and tips, etc. But he started as just Rappi because he speaks some English, and I think it's gotten better over time. But yeah, I think that's an amazing opportunity. But imagine starting as just a Rappi delivery in a lower income neighborhood to having your own little courier company on motorcycles. That's life-changing. So yeah, that's a good point. We live less than 10 minutes walk from Lleras, and we don't even go there. Yeah, I don't go to Lleras. I don't know if somebody asked that. No dem papaya. Yeah, good advice. Okay, so going down the list, we talked about the pros and cons. I'm going to go over a couple of questions. So I've been doing Zoom calls with 20 people at a time the first Tuesday of the month. In January, we already did our Zoom call, which was at the first Tuesday of January. And I'm going to go over a couple of the questions which have been like the predominant questions in those Zoom calls. The first question that people ask that's usually pretty important here. Let me see here. Is okay. And somebody asked it already. The first question a lot of people ask on those Zoom calls is, can a foreigner buy property in Medellin, and do you own the title, or is your name on the title when you buy the property? So yes, if you buy property anywhere in Colombia, your name will be on the title, even if you are not a Colombian resident, citizen, or even hold a Colombian visa. You could just buy it with a passport, and your name and passport will be on the deed or on the title, and you will own the property itself. It's not like places like Mexico where you get like a 99-year lease on the property if you're a foreigner. Here, you actually own the property. Another question that a lot of people had is, how are the schools for kids in Colombia or in Medellin? If you've got money, they're amazing. The top rated or the best, or I guess the private school that's more prestigious, the most prestigious private schools are Marymount, and the other one is Columbus School. The mayor's son goes to Columbus School. It's a K through 12. They teach 90% of their classes in English, and they actually get the equivalent of a GED when they graduate high school out of that. And it's like literally like a community college campus. When I went to go tour it for our kid, we're on the waiting list for that one. That's the one that I want him to go to, but we have plan B and plan C already. That one costs about $10,000 a year for the kid to go there, plus uniforms, plus food, plus transportation. So it's going to be more than $10,000 a month, but it's one of the best schools. My lawyer, Juliana, she went there. So that tells you a lot about the type of school it is. So yeah, there are some amazing schools. Public schools here are just like public schools everywhere in the world usually. I shouldn't say that, but it's not the best. It's not the best. There are some public schools that are very good. There are some private schools that are cheaper that are also very good. But the private schools that are prestigious and more expensive, those, another factor is that they're far away. They're not in Medellin usually. They're like in the hills of Envigado, outside of Medellin. So transportation is another issue, and location of where you're going to be living is an issue. So those are the two top questions that people have asked in the last 3 Zoom calls we've had. I've only had 3 Zoom calls. So anyway, what do you guys think? Are you guys going to be coming to Medellin in 2026? Is it something that is on the docket? Are you going to be learning Spanish when you're down here? Are you going to be checking out nomadspanishmedellin.com? If you're interested in that, there is a link in the description below to sign up for to get on the waiting list. If you're coming to Medellin and you want to relocate and you want to work with me and my team to relocate, there's a link in the description to a form for a one-on-one Zoom call where we can explain to you what the Medellín Masterclass more in depth, because you could check it out at medellínmasterclass.com, get all the info there. Yeah, so you could get that. Ethan, thank you so much for the $2 donation. He says $10,000 a month for a school. No, $10,000 a year. It's not a month, it's a year, Ethan. $10,000 a year for the most prestigious K through 12 schools in the Medellin vicinity. Not a month. Did I say a month? If I did, I'm sorry. Thank you for the donation and the reminder. It is a year, $10,000 for the year. Just got here, participated in the first Zoom call. My classes at AFE start in 2 weeks. Nice, DP. Appreciate you shouting out the Zoom call. Exit says, is your Juliana the same one that was at the navigation with Nana Oriente channel? Navigating with Nana. I don't know. I haven't seen that. She's like a fair-skinned Colombian girl with blonde hair. Thin. And she speaks English very well. Sneaky says, I want to come back in April, but I hear businesses are closed for Easter. Some are, but since it's become so touristy, everything is pretty much still open during Semana Santa. Brun says, from personal experience, I highly recommend doing a Zoom calls. If you can, Andrew was a great resource, and it was very cool being able to talk to him and the other people. Yeah, you actually get to talk to me on the Zoom calls. Thanks, Brun. Appreciate it. No, that's not the one with Nana. Okay, thank you, Shante. All right, guys, so I'm going to wind it down here. It is 8 o'clock. We've gone 2 hours. I appreciate you guys joining this live. I will be going live every Friday from now on. We've got 52 Fridays of 2026 where we're going to be live and hopefully answering all your questions. Exit, thanks for everything. Everything, Andrew, great job. Thank you so much for the $2 donation. I appreciate it. All donations go to Help Colombia, so we highly appreciate it for the Spanish classes or the English classes to the poor kids in Moravia. Nate says, my dad paid $2,000 a month for schooling back in the 80s. That price is $10K a year is actually a deal. Yeah, thank you for that. I think it's still a good deal. If you could pay $10,000 for a whole year at a private school, the best school, teaches your kid in English and some Spanish. They're going to learn Spanish regardless if they're living here. I have friends that have their kids there. They rave about the school. I can't wait for my kid to get into basketball. I hope. Fingers crossed. If not, it's okay, Lorenzo, if you're watching this in the future. I hope you do. It's okay if you don't play basketball. But really, it's not okay. All right, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys being here. Again, links in the description below to the masterclass Zoom call if you want to have a one-on-one call to discuss that. Also, there is a link in the description below to get on the to the Nomad Spanish Medellin.com waiting list for evening Spanish classes in Colombia when you come down here and visit. You can do everything that you need to do during the day and take classes from 5 to 7, and then a free language exchange from 7 to 9. Monday through Friday. You could pay weekly or monthly. You could get on the waiting list by filling that out. On top of that, don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. And I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next video, which I don't know what I'm going to talk about tomorrow, but we'll figure it out and we'll put up the video. Hope you all have a great weekend. See you guys.